Hello and welcome to another edition of Resource PNG. The mining sector in Papua New Guinea has been on a slight downturn due to falling metal prices on the world market. Whilst this has caused some companies to scale down operations, there is still a high level of confidence in the country's ability to withstand this current downturn. Resource PNG recently spoke with Mining Minister Byron Chan regarding activities within the mining sector.
Hello everyone and welcome to Resource PNG. Today we have Mining Minister Byron Chan. Thank you, Mr. Chan, for joining us.
Thank you, Michaeline.
Now at the 13th PNG Mining and Petroleum Conference, you spoke about the downturn in PNG minerals industry. Can you share some of the key messages?
Well, PNG is like every other country. We are affected by the downturn. However, the PNG story is that with all that difficulties in the industry, it has not really affected our country. The investment, production slightly declined, but the activities and the industry is quite alive.
According to the PNG budget, employment in the mining sector fell by 22.7%. This seems like a very dismal situation. Do you expect further job losses, considering the commodity prices have fallen?
Yes, we expect the trend to continue. We don't know actually how long. So companies in Papua New Guinea will be taking certain administrative decisions to reduce cost and make them more efficient and more profitable. It's very difficult in our country because the mines are so isolated and there's high costs of operating. So yes, they will be taking very decisive actions and our people, the employees, will be affected.
Should they be worried?
Should they be worried? That is really not, I don't believe so. See, the government's expenditure right now in the government sector with the massive expenditures in infrastructure, the projects happening all around PNG and district funding and provincial fundings, there'll be so much activity happening in every district, every province and throughout Papua New Guinea. This massive infrastructure expenditure will absorb some of these people who may be affected by the mining industry.
Now in the mining industry, there seems to be struggle with two. Lee here is PNG's largest gold mine and Hidden Valley. Is there anything the government can do to make a difference?
Well, government must be able to manage a crisis situation, which will be also managed by the companies in itself. So I suppose where we can help ease the burdens of these companies in the various administrative, regulatory areas, that's where we can help. Further than that, mainly the companies themselves have to deal with these problems, and as a government we cannot see the closure of any of these mining activities.
As a 100% owner of the Tedi mine, are you as Mining Minister satisfied with the progress of mine life extension? How much of a threat are lower gold and copper prices to be continued to the profitability of Tedi?
Tedi is, firstly, I'd like to congratulate the Prime Minister for having achieved the 11th Tedi mining. Also like to thank the people of Western Province for their support to the government for the mine life extension. Tedi, as you know, it's one of our biggest mines, if not the biggest mine yet, and it's going through some difficult times, especially when they have environmental issues to deal with, and not just in terms of pollution. I'm saying the heavy rainfalls, the build-up in the rivers, the silt, etc., and that affects the operations. The current prices, what Tedi has mentioned yesterday through the newly appointed CEO, they have to, like all companies, take the administrative decision, cost cutting, relook at contracts and all the other consultancies and service providers, and start cutting costs and make it profitable. Because the prices as it is now will be there for some time, but how long we have to manage.
Will it be continuing beyond 2025?
The Tedi life,
yes.
Mine life, we hope so, yes. There are new deposits in the other mountains, surrounding areas. I believe one of them at Townsville, and they look very promising. However, because of the current prices, it makes it difficult for the Tedi mine to progress in those areas.
Tedi Mine and waste management. As Minister, are you satisfied with the waste management from Tedi Mine this last 12 months?
Waste management is, so far, I suppose we are. However, the responsibility of that really lies with the Environment Minister.
You're watching Resource PNG. Don't go away. We'll continue our discussion with Mining Minister Byron Chan right after these messages. Welcome back to Resource PNG. We continue our discussion with Mining Minister Byron Chan on issues within the mining sector in Papua New Guinea. Whilst gold and copper have traditionally been the main mining operations, there has been increased interest in new metals such as nickel. Mining Minister Byron Chan gives a glimpse on what he expects from this interest in the new minerals.
Minister, you mentioned the potential of new minerals, especially coal, alluvial, nickel. Do you believe coal should be viably produced in Papua New Guinea?
These are new minerals being discovered in our country. At this stage, it's a bit early to determine the future, because we don't actually know the potential, the resource. So obviously, we'd like to see the future of the coal industry, of the mineral sands industry in our country. And if we have the potential in mineral sands, coal is still being determined. So I suppose it's something new, and that's something that we would like to encourage and we support.
Considering the slump in prices, do you see this as a deterrent?
No. These are new minerals being discovered by minor junior explorers, which are very excited. We are also excited because, we haven't discovered it before, and now it's being discovered. So our department and MRA and myself, we're very excited about these deposits, and we'd like to see more. We're getting the policies together to accommodate the development of these coal industry and mineral sands, and it's just an added mineral product for the country, and it has big potential if we can develop it.
Can you give us an overview in the number of mines currently in production in Papua New Guinea?
Currently there are 9 mines in production, generating over 9 billion kina, which is about 60% of our GDP. So mining has been the backbone for Papua New Guinea over the last 25 years. We're paving the way now for LNG. However, the situation with LNG is that it's a big revenue earner, but not a big employer. Mining is both. You earn big, you employ big.
Do you see a need for more investment in the mining sector?
Obviously, yes. We want to see more investment. We want to see more investment in new minerals and the new potentials that we have. And we'd like to see that develop. like I said, mineral sands has a potential. We're discovering it in Western Province, in Morbe Province, and in the Amazon Bay. And if those type of mining are established, we can also look at the downstream processing of these mineral sands. If we can resolve our power problem, we can also, once Wafi gets developed, Marengo, Yandara gets developed, and Frida River gets developed, we can also look at downstream processing of copper. Because at that time, if we have three major mines developed, major copper mines, we will be one of the world's largest copper producers and exporters. So why should we export everything when we can and have the potential to downstream process everything at home? Because these copper mines will last over 30 years.
Now, in terms of the Mining Act and land ownership, can you give us an insight to any amendments?
The Mining Act and land ownership, well, from the government's perspective, the department, my department maintains that the ownership remains with the state, and we're looking more at the more increased benefits in equity participation, royalty participation at the early stage, from exploration right down to a possible refinery, and having a gold bullion captured in all of these gold bullion reserve captured in this Mining Act. So all of these benefits, and we're using the existing act to capture, not to amend it significantly, but to amend the benefits significantly.
Now, going over to Bougainville. With the Panguna reopening, has the department had any progressive talks with the landowners?
Well, Panguna is a special case. Bougainville is a special case. We have a joint Bougainville committee that's, taking the government through the Bougainville peace agreement, and all the commitments are arising from that. But the Panguna issues also being discussed. I've had an audience with some of the landowners last month. They came to express their concerns over the new laws that was passed by Bougainville. However, my department in its jurisdiction ends where the autonomous Bougainville Parliament begins. So there is a quite definite line there that we respect.
Now, coming to the last 12 months of 2014, we're going to 2015. Can you share some of the challenges, and what is your prospect for the next few years?
Well, I believe that firstly, we're going to go through some very difficult times. Administratively, all the companies would be taking some decisive actions, cost-cutting measures, reviewing all of the contracts, consultancies and services. So they'll be cutting costs. They have to make profit, and they have to reduce certain areas to make profit. So yes, we will be affected, our people will be affected, but we cannot afford a closure of any mines at this time. They themselves cannot afford to close. They're responsible public companies, and they have a responsibility to their shareholders, and they have to show that they can weather the difficult times. So I believe for the next year, for the next 18 months, obviously there'll be a slowdown. However, with the slowdown, it gives opportunities for those cashed up businesses those investors with the big bucks. They are, and those institutions are willing to take the risk. This is where they will come in when there is a slump, and they will start getting interested in areas that have potential and invest, take over, and develop.
You're watching Resource PNG. We'll be back with more right after these messages. Welcome back. The mining industry is a leader in providing employment. Despite the current downturn in world metal prices, there is still a high level of optimism in the industry's ability in continuing to provide employment for Papua New Guineans.
Now, Minister, the downturn means something for the investors. What about our workforce and the families and graduates? What advice can you give them?
Well, these are very trying times for everyone, even the government. More so the government too, because it's the government's responsibility to take care of everyone. However, you know, the mining industry will always pick up. The world is growing every day. Hundreds of millions are being born every day. And the consumption, the demand will always be there. We're just going through a difficult time where companies or the supplies have been too much or oversupplied, and companies are just rectifying those problems. So it will come back again. I'd like to advise the young generation of scholars to maintain what they're doing, because out of these difficult times there are other opportunities that arise. And you know, no one foresaw people mining the seabed, and now we're sending the satellites to the Mars. So, and you know, when industries experience these difficult times, people move forward. They don't stop, and they go into other types of investment or areas where their skills are also being utilized, and they may develop more skills by going to other areas of interest, but maintaining the current studies in whatever field, mining industry. I believe they should maintain it, because the world is not going to go small, it's just going to go big, and the consumption is just going to get bigger. It's just when will they start getting hungry again.
And on that note, at the 13th PNG Mining and Petroleum Conference, what do you hope we can all take away from this?
Well, we shared our experience with Australia, the rest of the world, through this conference. We wanted to let them know that we are also affected by this downturn. But at the same time, we wanted to let them know that PNG is also experiencing upturn, especially in alluvial mining, especially in new discoveries. So that's a positive signal that we're sending to the investors at this time. We may have difficulties, but we are looking at other areas of potential. Alluvial mining revenues are almost 400 million now. And that's such a small area of Papua New Guinea. We foresee that if there is interest in alluvial, that 400 million could go up to 1 billion kina in revenue. And then those new discoveries of mineral sands and coal can take off, and we can see a great future in the export of coal and mineral sands. And this is the upside of a downturn that we're trying to stress. to the investment conference here. At the same time, we've shown confidence. The government has done that through the 11th Tedi Mining Act. Parliament fully supported. The Prime Minister is in control, is in charge. The government has shown its support. The people have shown its support. So we have given confidence ourselves as a country, as a nation, for our own nationally owned mine. And we like the world to see that even though we have a downturn, we are pushing things forward, we are progressing, and we are redressing the difficult times. And our amendment, where my department is going through right now, will have to strike a balance. And I hope our people realize that whatever amendments that we make back at home, we'll have to ride the difficult times, the good times and the bad times, but more so the bad times, because once those minerals are exploited through the difficult times, they will never be recovered. So I have to make sure that, and the department make sure that our laws protect our people in the most difficult times. And I hope that this convention has given hope to the industry, and also show that PNG is going through a very good. It's managing itself well through this difficult mining period.
Thank you, Mr. Chan, for your time here on Resource PNG.
Thank you very much.
And that's all we have time for on this edition of Resource PNG. If you want to know more about the program, please email us. Our address, resourcepng@mtv.com.pg. You can also view this edition online by going to www.mtv.com.pg, where you will find a link to the Resource PNG page. Until the next time, I'm Meribatulo, and this has been Resource PNG.